Good morning, Woody. How you doing?
Good morning, Wimp. How you doing?
Well, Barry, I appreciate you being on. I don't know whether this is right, and you ain't going to tell the truth, but everybody we talk to gives you the credit for everything that's gone on at Clemson, facility-wise. I don't know about coaching-wise. You know, Dabo won't take that credit, but I don't want to take Dabo's credit away from him. But facility-wise and getting Clemson off to the right kind of start in every other phase. Tell us what you've done and take credit for it, will you?
No, Wimp, I can't take it all, but no, it's been a good relationship over here with the administration and with us here in football, and Dabo has been a big lead on this. In 2008. My last year at Mississippi State, I had a bout with kidney cancer and really didn't know what I wanted to do with my career after that. And then Dabo stayed on me and was insistent that I come back over here with him. And really didn't know. I mean, because you know how it is when you're coaching all this time and then all of a sudden you're going to juncture out into a new venture and you really don't know. But after I got over here, I saw where I could be really valuable to him and help him, with his young coaching career getting started. So one of the biggest things he wanted to be able to do was improve the facilities and then help him from an administrative standpoint. And I've been able to do that. And, even though we were moving in a new facility in 2009 when I got here, but we outgrew it because we built it in the stadium, and it's just so much you can expand on there in the stadium. And then after 2011, when we had the good season, and we got a new athletic director, and Dan Radakovich, Dan is a builder, and, Dabo talked to him, and then we were able to expand and come across the street over here. And during that time, we hired Thad Turnipseed over here, who was very important in a lot of things that had gone on there in Tuscaloosa. And we got Thad over here, and Thad and I jumped on a plane, and we flew up to Tennessee. Mississippi State, who had just built a new building, and then we came back through Tuscaloosa, and then we even went out to Oregon. And we came back and all got together in the room with Dabo and started putting this thing together, and it's here now, and it's been a big plus into what we've been able to do from a recruiting standpoint.
And those are the places you went and then came back with a committee?
Well, what we did when we came...
The committee, probably.
No, we came back. We got in the room with Dabo, and then we included everybody. After Dabo, we brought in the two coordinators, and then after that, we brought in the other 7 coaches, and then we brought in the strength coach, the trainer, the equipment guy, and we brought in all the administrative assistants, and then we brought in everybody to clean up the building.
Huh.
And so everybody had their input because we had lived it, we had been in it, and we knew what we needed, and we knew what the shortcomings were in the other facility, and we were able to put all that together. We did that 3 times before we sent it to the architects.
You put a new facility on almost on top of another facility that didn't suit your needs.
That's right. Sure did. And then Dan saw a need for that, the other facility, and once we moved out of there, he turned it into an academic center. Which gained more space. Our academic center was the first freestanding academic center in collegiate athletics in the middle of the campus. But he was getting ready to put like $2.5 million into that. And so we sold that back to the university, took that money, and went in, and the facility that we moved out of, we turned it into a first-rate academic center, which is right here close to all of the sports now.
Boy, that's great stuff, Barry.
Woody's been a lot of talk here in Tuscaloosa about staff turnover, and there's reasons why everything happens, but there's been a lot of talk about you guys there being able to keep everybody in place. Just maybe talk about the situation there and why it's really hard for these guys to leave Clemson.
Well, one of the things when, and y'all probably remember this, for a long time, Dabo wouldn't take a raise, and Terry Don Phillips was the AD at the time, and Terry Don really didn't like that because when all the head coaches' salaries came out in the paper, even though it's a success Dabo was having, he was not up there at the top. But he told Terry Don, my success and Clemson's success is going to be able to keep keep the current staff here as long as they can. And these guys shouldn't leave here unless they're going to be a head coach. And so finally, Terry Don bought in, didn't do it, so he deferred that money to the staff. And so Dabo started spreading it out. And then when Dan Radakovich came in, Dan, bought into what Dabo wanted to do. And that's been one of the biggest reasons that we've been able to keep those guys. Plus, Clemson is a college town. I mean, we got 12,000 permanent residents here. And when school is in, we got another 22,000 students. And it's a good place to live. And it's a college environment. And the school system here in Clemson is very good, public school system. And these guys like it because their kids get a chance to get a good quality education. And they in this facility a lot. When school is out in the afternoon, I mean, all the kids is not playing ball or anything like that. They're over here. Dabo wants them around. They're out at practice and all. So that's been one of the things, the environment that he's created for the assistant coaches and make them feel like they want it from a financial standpoint, and then also have a good living environment by being here at Clemson.
Yep.
Football-wise, another good team. They talk about Alabama's schedule. They talk about the ACC is not very good. Just forget that part of it. Just talk to us a little bit about the team that Clemson's going to have. I don't care who they play, about their team and the good and bad of without giving away any secrets.
Well, it's a young team on paper. We got 80 freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomores on this team.
All right.
Now, from an experience standpoint, and our, everything shifted kind of from the defense to the offense for us this year. Because if you look at our offensive line pretty much came back intact. And then we got the quarterback back. And then the two receivers, Justin Ross and T. Higgins, and then the running back, Travis Etienne. We should be able to have a really, really good, solid offense.
Yeah.
And a name that a lot of people might not associate with is a kid named J.C. Chalk, our tight end. That's Coach Stallings' grandson.
Yeah.
He'll be our starting tight end this year. J.C. lost about 20 pounds between spring practice and now, really came back and really has had a really good camp. And J.C. should be a really good player for us this season. But, good leadership on that side of the ball. On defense, up front, you lost 4 draft picks. And even though we had quite a few kids to play, Niles Pickney and Xavier Thomas, and only 2 guys coming back up front that had a lot of experience, and most of the experience we got is on the back end with some very good players and Isaiah Simmons and Kayvon Wallace, Tanner Muse, and A.J. Terrell.
Yeah.
But, there's been a lot of talk all summer long, bantering back and forth about schedules and all that. To me, it's about the game.
Yeah,
the next game, who your opponent is,
That's
and
right.
can you win the ball game, and did you win the game? It's,
That's right.
all that other stuff don't matter. You got to win the game.
Get the right kids to the practice area and to the game.
Yeah,
that's it.
And don't apologize for being good. People always talk about the schedule. Well, hey, we're just good, so there's no reason to apologize. But there's winning. You guys have won 2 there. You talk about. People say, when you win a major in golf, it changes your life. You win a Super Bowl, it changes your life. What has winning 2 national championships done for the perception of the program? I'm sure it's opened up other doors in recruiting. What all has it done for the program? Well,
Barry, this is my second stint here, and I really believe this. Right at the end with 94 and 89, I felt like in 90 or 91, if this staff had stayed intact here, I really felt like we could have won another national championship with the players that we had, because a lot of those guys were pro bowlers and all that. Didn't happen. So all of a sudden, here we come back again, and I'm fortunate to be over here with Dabo, a young man that I was able to coach. And this place had a tradition. It had a good foundation. And he had been here long enough as an assistant to see that And then he surrounded himself, with people here like Jeff Davis. Jeff was a former player here. Matter of fact, he lived next door to Dabo. And Dabo talked to him out of leaving the foundation and then coming back over to football full time and working. And then he was able to get me over here. But if you look at our staff, he got a lot of former players at Alabama and staff members there at Alabama that he surrounded himself with. And by doing that, with winning the 2 national championships in 3 years, it's really helped us from a recruiting standpoint. Now the thing that we have to guard against, we got kids calling us, and it's been the right fit. I mean, pretty much our footprint has been South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, the Jacksonville, Florida area, and Virginia. That's pretty much been our footprint in recruiting. We went back and did a study this spring, and most of our all-ACC players, our All-American players, and the guys that had been drafted came out of that footprint. So now with the success, we getting kids calling us from California, from up in the Northeast, and even on down in South Florida. So we ventured out a little bit more in recruiting, but the biggest thing is we better do a good job of vetting who these guys are and if they really fit what we have here at Clemson. Cause Wimp, if you bring in 1 or 2 bad guys, it can destroy everything.
Yeah, that's the best statement you've made there.
Right.
Yeah. How about this, Woody, this house that Dabo bought? I saw the video of the staff.
He built it.
If I went over, I would never leave that house. How about? And I know it was probably geared towards recruiting and the staff. And hey, let's come over here and swim in my pool. And got a gym, got a batting cage. That's got to be quite a help for recruiting as well, isn't it?
Oh, he's like a little kid. He really enjoys it. Same thing with this facility here. I mean, he wanted it to be where the kids like being around, especially for recruiting and all. And when they come here in this building, and then when he has different functions over there at his house and all, I mean, he wants it to be where it's fun for everybody. And, he just didn't build it for himself. And, he made the statement that, he built it for the football coach at Clemson for the next 50 years. And, he got the gym in there. He got his weight room downstairs. He got a theater. He got all the different games that kids like to play. And when they come in here on the weekend and they get downstairs, I mean, they just have a big time. I mean, it's not like you're getting in there and everybody's sitting around looking at each other and twiddling your thumbs. It's not that way.
I wonder why Dad never built something like that when he was coaching, Woody. I guess the salary's a little different now.
Yeah, I couldn't build our house. I was coaching. Woody, I know Alabama's in your minds as well, and y'all kicked Alabama's fanny pretty well, and I'll try to make it down the line of the show. But forgetting last year's kicking that you gave Alabama, Nick's done a heck of a job of that program, hasn't he?
No doubt. No doubt. From where it was, and I kind of saw it, from being over there at Mississippi State, because his first year there, we were able to beat them that day over in Starkville. But then after that, he started again. He surrounded himself with a good staff. He had a good athletic director there, Mal Moore, and Mal knew what it needed to have and what it was going to have to take to get the program back on top, and he gave Nick the resources to be able to do what he needed to do. And I think that's what you got to have.
Sure.
When I look back at it, and I've had a chance to work for 4 coaches that have won national championship. One in Coach Stallings, and then he had Hootie as an AD. And then the next one was Danny Ford, and he had Bill McClellan here as an AD. And then Philip Fulmer, Doug Dickey was his AD. And then here with Dabo and Terry Don Phillips and Dan Radakovich as an AD. And every one of those guys were ex-coaches that were athletic directors.
Yeah, right.
And same thing with Mal there. And it was a good relationship with Mal and Nick. He was able to hire Nick and bring him in there. And that's why I think that you got to have that relationship. if you're going to have a degree of success.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Well, I appreciate you being on. If Barry has anything else, I know you got a lot to do. Barry, if you got anything.
Woody, could Dad recruit? Was he a good recruiter?
Oh, all the first rounders he had.
Was that he was getting them? What was he doing?
Hey, good coach and a great personality. They could walk in that house and sell those moms. That's what you got.
Well, the only problem I had was trying to do that cotton picking roast of Gene Stallings, and because Gene didn't want me to roast him, and I didn't know what to do. I was caught in the middle of that deal. But you did a great job on it, and Pat Dye, I couldn't get him to shut up when we did his.
Oh God!
Hey, I talked to Coach, and he told me I wasn't able to come this year.
Yeah.
And I was down in New Orleans for that college football playoff. But Coach Stallings said that Pat thanked everybody from the Tennessee River to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, I couldn't get it down. No.
I think he thanked his first grade teacher. I think he had a little wine in him, if the truth be told.